Hello and welcome to Leaders in Studio. Today is a very special day, our first time in Dubai, and I'm very humbled to interview amazing executives in technology and share their stories. And today I'm here with Yahyah Pandor, and very nice to have you. I know we had a little chat before this recording and I'm already excited about your background, but if you can introduce yourself and talk about where you're working now and your title. I know it, but they don't.
Cool. So I'm Yahyah. Firstly, welcome to Dubai. That's the first thing for you.
Thank
It's
you.
a great city. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun, and it's a really good place to live, and it's a really professional environment. So welcome to Dubai. I'm Yahyah Pandor. You said my name perfect.
Yeah.
I'm currently the Chief Information and Digital Officer at a company called Fine Hygienic Holding. It's a family-run business based out of Jordan. It's a brand that's synonymous with this region in particular. We're based in Dubai now. We run our operations from Dubai, but we're based in Jordan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and obviously here in Abu Dhabi, etc. As well as that, we expand internationally into Europe with our brands. So we sell tissues, which are very well known, sterilized tissues. We sell toilet rolls. We sell kitchen towels. We don't really sell sexy products. But where we made our brand recognition go through the roof over COVID was our masks. We produced a mask called the Fine Guard mask, which you may see around Dubai. A lot of people wearing them. Our CEO is a very enigmatic character. If ever you meet him, you would realize what I meant. But he saw this coming. He worked with a company called Living Guard, who have a technology where if the virus hits the mask kills it instantly.
What's in the mask?
Oh my God, oh my God, this is where my CEO is going to kill me. I'm not a scientist.
It's a secret.
I'm a very simple guy. No, it's all online to look at and how we do it. But the chemicals within the material kill it. 99.9% of viruses kill it. So when the pandemic came, we were quite fortunate that we went to market early because look, these days it's about ethical stuff. So we don't want to, if you see the amount of masks that are in the sea today, people just, I've done it with the mask, put in the dustbin, and they go to the sea, they go to the rubbish tip. So our mask you can wash. You can wear it for 2 months and just wash it. Every week you can wash it, and after 30 to 60 days you can say thank you and buy another one. So our point was about a sustainable product that's ethically correct. We are very much into the environment and stuff like that, as we all should be, so that was part of our driver. But also it's to keep people safe. And fundamentally the science does work. We've done all the science work behind it. It went through the labs. And in Dubai they have very, very strict rules about releasing a product. Sometimes I think if we're from America or from London, we think we have the strictest laws. I can tell you now Dubai is very, very strict. You can't just produce a product on the shelf. It has to go through testing, certification, attestation, and then again another round of testing, signatures. So believe me, the process is quite clear. So we're quite lucky that we've done that. And then on the back of that, we produced sterilized hand wash. So you put it once, and that's it. It lasts 24 hours. You don't have to keep squirting 24 hours. I'll bring some for you next time. And a whole host of different products. And now we're moving into wellness because the whole world's sort of realized, oh my God, my health's so important.
Mental issues. Yeah.
So yes, correct. Absolutely right. You just hit the nail. We're bringing out 2 products. One to do with neurological challenges maybe people have, fatigue, fog, trying to get their brain cells really working. So it's a patented product coming out of America, funny enough, run by scientists in America. And the one that I use personally is something called Motiva. I believe it or not, I go to a UFC gym 3-4 times a week. The problem that I have, there's a KFC next to it, so that doesn't help. But what that does, if you do sports, you play football, or you could do boxing or running or whatever you do, it takes away the inflammation. So you put 10 to 12 drops in a glass of water. And I promise you, I'm not saying it because it's my company. I actually didn't believe it until a friend of mine who uses it told me. And within a couple of hours, all of your ankles, your knees, your shoulders, whatever you're doing, it's still going to have a little bit of pain, but actually it's nowhere near, and it's all natural. So what we use is cumin.
Yeah.
So in India, they use that a lot. Anyway, that's the introduction to my company.
That's beautiful. What I'm hearing is a lot of pivoting and hearing the market and shifting quickly. Like you are in digital innovation, you are information and digital officer. And I wanted to know how you take that pivot quickly and spin it into technology, because you are you take the information about pivoting, and then you have to really bring all your staff and team and
we got lucky. If you want the truth, that's nothing to do with my brains. Well, we got lucky. I've been at Fine now for nearly 3 years, and one of the first things I said was, you got 2 options. I'm going to get a bit geeky now, so forgive me. You got 2 options. Either you can have this fantastic hardware,
Yeah.
and you can spend millions of dollars updating it, or we just take the risk and go cloud. So we went full cloud, 100% cloud.
Which cloud? Which?
We went live, so there's three elements to my operation. The first one that we had to do was upgrade our networks. Because people talk about, I want to go to the cloud, but you know what? If you don't have the right network, if you don't have the right cell phone, it's completely useless. So we invested in our networks. Now, you have to remember, in Dubai, we're quite sophisticated with fiber optic technology, and you know, my house is 1 gigabyte line. You know, you can downstream a movie, which is great for this region. But then you have to remember, we have operations in Egypt. You know, Egypt is not there yet for that technology. So we had to work with our vendors in Egypt to make sure that the networks in Egypt are up to standard for just the basic cloud access. And if you know Egypt well, it's a fantastic country, very vibrant. Sometimes a lot of red tape in certain things. And because this is new technology, we had to work very closely with the telco vendors, but also with the local government providers to create boxes for us where we can put the fiber optics. That's just for us.
Yeah.
To go to the cloud. Saudi Arabia, amazing technology, really good cabling, really good networking, so we were okay there. Jordan has improved massively, some of the vendors we worked there. So just to answer your question very quickly, we got lucky that we invested in that. Why? Because when COVID came, everyone went home.
Yeah.
Immediately. It was an immediate 24-hour thing, or off you go home. We were lucky because we went with the Microsoft Cloud on Office 365. So all of our desktop, all of our security, all of our infrastructure, we moved from on-premise to the Microsoft Cloud. And I can tell you, we went live 3 weeks with the Microsoft Cloud before the COVID happened. Now, what does that mean?
Wow.
If we didn't go live, Teams would not exist in my company.
Yeah.
So luckily, we pushed Teams and it was done. So I see it as a blessing. I can't take the credit for it. It's luck, good timing, whatever you want to call it. I was a year away from implementing it. We done it quicker, and it was a blessing. So
well, blessing, and I really think you put something in there that to make it faster and to streamline your team, so it's actually, you know, implemented. And then the COVID hit, but I understand it's a blessing.
yeah, it's a blessing. We got lucky.
Awesome.
And then we also use the Oracle Cloud and the Salesforce Cloud, but we can go into that.
And
after.
you were in Oracle before, I've noticed.
I was in Oracle before.
So you know US, you know a little bit of a market.
I know America. I like to think I know America pretty well. Europe pretty well. Middle East pretty well. I had an EMEA role, so that means Europe, Middle East, Africa.
Yeah.
So I know this region pretty well, and Europe. But yeah, I know America well for personal reasons and business reasons.
Personal reasons. Tell me more about that.
I'm married to an American.
Wow.
Jeez, yes, married to an American, Philadelphia girl. So
Wow.
yeah, that's, you know, she's from Pennsylvania. She's a doctor here in education and linguistics. Very smart lady. She's very lucky to have me, I have to say. She didn't get the joke there. No, but you know, we have 2 kids in America. We have family in America. So I haven't been to America for 3 years because of COVID, but looking forward to going this summer.
So she followed you. You didn't follow her. Did she want to come here and live with you?
And it's International Women's Day.
Oh yes, it is.
No, you know, we came to Dubai before. Look, the Middle East, you know, no matter where you're from, no matter what religion you are, what skin color you are, it's an incredibly safe country. It's one of the highlights of living here. It's so safe. If you want to go jogging at 2, 3 in the morning, you know, there's a law that got passed this week. You're not allowed to hassle a lady in the street anymore. There's like 100,000 dirham fines just for saying hello, dear. So these things are very important to me. My wife loves the weather, the international cuisine, the food you get here. Oh my God! You name a country, you get the dish, guaranteed. It's very multinational, and I know people talk about that, but you know, I'm from London.
You were born there?
Born in the UK, yeah, born in London,
awesome.
born and raised in London.
Very cold and windy and...
Cold and windy, but it's an international city.
Yes.
And here I say it's a truly international city because people literally live together. No matter where you're from, you know, you've got Russian neighbors, you've got African people downstairs, you've got people from India, Pakistan down the road, you go to the gym, you've got Egyptians, Jordanians, you just meet different people. And after you live here for a few months, it just becomes part of your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of Dubai, 100%. Yeah.
I've noticed that in Dubai, and I've only been here for a couple of days, but that spectrum of cultures is amazing, and you have the city reminds me of so many different cities in one, and so many cultures in one. So it's
you can
and
go
a beautiful weather.
You can go to Dera and you're in India, Pakistan. You come out a little bit, you're in Cairo. You go to certain other parts, you think you're in Amman. You go to another place, you're in Ukraine, you're in Russia, you're in different places. I love that. On the weekend, you get spoilt for where do I eat. That's the only problem.
Awesome. Well, I think I wanted to ask you about technology and the leadership in Dubai, because when we talk about Silicon Valley and traditional CIOs, and they're very serious and they're not very connected to business. I'm trying to be as blunt about the role, and you know, I read about your profile that people call you extroverted, assertive, professional, and charismatic. And I don't know if I can connect that to the traditional CIO role. So I wanted to talk about those traits for you, and what does modern CIO means to you, and you know, to the rest of the modern era of the technology leaders.
So my CEO gave me those 4 words when he described me on coming to the company. Okay, so I'll give you I'll shoot from the hip. You know, being an executive in this particular sector, especially pre-COVID and now post-COVID, suddenly you're at the top tier of all discussions because everyone wants to go digital, right? And I believe, and I still believe today, there's a perception that a lot of CIOs or whatever, IT directors, whatever you want to call them these days, are people who make the network work and they fix laptops. There is still that perception. And I have to say, I think that is sometimes a true perception of some people in my industry. So the word extroverted is because you have to have a personality.
Sure.
You know, every leader has to have a personality. You have to stand out from the crowd. And you have to show people that, you know, I'm a techie. I'm a geek. I can code Java better than anyone. I can put a network cable together. But you know what? I've got personality. I'm fun. We can make things happen. You can motivate your team. You know, it's all about energy. You've got to give energy. I mean, the stuff we do can be quite boring, let's be honest. But if you can translate that boring stuff into, say, wow, you've got to give it a wow factor. You know, I see it, and you may think I'm nuts. I see it that I'm in the entertainment business. My team do fantastic stuff. My job is to produce that, direct it, and put it on stage for the business to see. That's where the extroverted comes from. The assertive start, because since that you asked, now I'll answer it. The assertive is you also don't be scared to make hard decisions. You know, we're quite fortunate. Okay, so I work with finance, supply chain, HR, the executives, procurement, and the rest of you, and sales, etc. So I'm quite not an advantage, but I'm quite lucky that I see every part of the business. Now, sometimes when I see something, I see the connecting dots. And sometimes in my position, you can't be scared to make assertive decisions for the right of the business. And that comes with the knowledge and the confidence that you can say to the business, hey, what you're doing is not right, because I see the bigger picture. You need to do it this way. And that's where change management and the traditional IT stuff comes into it. But that's where the assertive comes.
That's amazing. I heard so many amazing things. Like, one is that everything, even the boringest job, can have the creativity, and creativity makes it fun and completely different. I'm sure your team really loves working with you because they feel like, hey, this is not a job, this is a journey. You know,
I walked in today and you said, how was my day? And I said, challenging. It was challenging. We live in a place now where tech demand is so high. It's so high that even at the most senior level, to retain that position, or people within my team who are just graduates, it's so hard. But you've got to create the right atmosphere. That's one thing that you learn. You've got to create the right tools for them to do their job. You know, every company is different. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong. Let them come in shorts. Let them come in t-shirts. Let them come in flip-flops. Let them do their job. Because these guys don't operate like us. Let them put their headphones on. Let them play their music in their ears. Some of them don't want to come to meetings. They're just coders. And they're quite happy doing that. Let them do that. So, you know, it's important that you have the right environment, the flexibility, the tools for them to do the job. I'm a great believer in that. And, you know, we're quite lucky. We have people from all around the world in our team, young, old, extroverted. We have a lot of people that just do not want to talk to any humans. They come in one day a week, they look at you, thank you, and off they go. But they do a great job. So, you know, we have people who are male, female, hijabis, non-hijabis. You know, it's a whole mix of people that we're trying to bring into organisation. For me, that's very important.
That's amazing. And your team is all over the Middle East region. How would you describe some of the teams and their personalities and the specialties, if you look at the region? Because, you know, I don't have the visibility to it. So if you talk about people in Egypt and techies there, and then so what are the differences, and how do you cultivate that culture?
Oh God, you're going to get me in trouble now. This is a region full of engineers. You have to understand that. If you know, Egypt produces so many engineers. Jordan produces so many engineers. This region produces so many engineers. In Saudi Arabia, they produce so many engineers. Then you got the influx of the Indians, and who are so many engineers, and then you got the fantastic Filipinos, so many engineers. Suddenly you realise everyone's an engineer.
Yeah.
And when you understand how systems operate today, once you understand that mentality, you'll understand why there are certain systems and applications and processes in place today that are constructed by engineers. And that's fantastic. That's brilliant. But I'm not in the engineering business. I'm in the business of delivering super cool software that works, that delivers an ROI to my company.
Yeah.
And how we construct it is in the back end. So this is a region of engineers, and I keep saying that, but once you understand that, you can then apply that way of thinking to the work that they do. Now, I have 3 engineers that work for me, but what they've done, they've adjusted their engineering thinking, translated that into a business way of thinking, so they can now construct thinking based upon business, and then translate that into implementation.
But that's a very hard job that you need to do, right?
Oh my God.
To get them to actually do that, adjust and be the chameleon that they actually try to really follow that.
You know, you have to be a coach in this job. People say my technology is probably 10% of my job. The 90% is people, coaching, management, playground. Sometimes you're dealing with people's egos here as well, and then you just move it on.
Awesome.
But it's fun.
It is.
It's fun.
I am so fascinated, and in your role, and you became a CIO. I really want to know, like, your journey. So, you or a little kid, you were in UK, and when did you get into IT, and how did you become a CIO, and what prompted you, who inspired you, and how that journey?
Yeah, I didn't really get into IT. My first job was at McDonald's.
All right.
Customer service. Because this whole job's about customer service,
Yes.
and the branch that I worked in was in Oxford Street. I don't know how well you know London.
Yes,
Oxford Street is like the centre of international tourism. So you go from a guy from East London, and then you go work in Central London, and suddenly you're meeting, my God, Spanish people, Italian people, Arabs, West Indians, Africans, whoever. You think, oh my God, I never met these people before. So that gives you that cultural awareness that I think today is so important from that, and also values. Clean the floors. Mop the floors, clean the toilets, that sort of stuff. I think that's important. But I do remember every night we had to cash up the tills, and you had to put them in the system it was a very old system back then. I can't remember what it was, but you had to put in the exact change in that. So that was your first introduction to say, so this has to go into a system. Then you work your way up, and then you worked. My actual first sort of IT job was at a department store called House of Fraser. Mm-hmm. I think they've gone bankrupt now, though, because of COVID and stuff, or maybe they're still around. They were looking for somebody to work in their customer services department, so at that time was a help desk, and give network support. So moved up there, learnt the very basics, how to put a cable together, basics. And then we moved, oh my God, now and I can't even think straight. Then I moved into a beautiful company, a really nice company called Whittard of Chelsea. They made very specialised tea and coffee at that time, and I think they're still around actually. You see them in the airports. They were looking for someone to say, hey, help us with our EPOS system. They had like 500 stores or something like that at the time, so they took a risk on me. The managing director's name was Richard Knight. I remember his name. He took a risk on me, and he said, I don't know, but you seem like you know what you're doing. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll learn it. And I remember I said that to him.
That's awesome.
And he gave me a great chance, and first 3 months, oh my God, I was going nuts. Oh my God, I didn't know what I was doing. But you know what? You buckle down, you put your head down, you learn it, and you work it out. And then it was not easy, but it was like, okay, now I sort of know what to do. Then from there, I moved to another department store. This is where I really learned my trade. They were doing a whole merchandising and buying replacement. Now, if you're in the fashion world, the things that you see in the store, they're not there by chance. There's like months of planning behind that. So I went there to help them on their huge sort of transformation project. And while I was there, a young man called Richard Paling, I remember, he was the account guy at Sun Microsystems. You're from California, Menlo Park. Now I think it's the headquarters of Facebook.
That's right.
He came and we just sort of hit it off, and he said, you're in the wrong game. And I said, what do you mean you're in the wrong game? He goes, you need to come in the software or hardware, whatever it was. I said, no, I'm happy there. He goes, no. I will change your life. I remember he said, I will change your life. Come into my world. I said, okay. I went for an interview, got the job at Sun Microsystems. And at that time, Sun Microsystems was the darling of Silicon Valley. You know, they was called the .in-com.
Yep.
The network is the computer. I don't know if you know this, but that was the darling. And I learned so much there. It was phenomenal. It was really a fantastic experience, one of the best times of my life. But that's where I learned about hardware, but the intricacies of hardware, the intricacies of software, Java, how to work with marketing, how to work with HR, all the cross-functional businesses that you need from these fantastic US companies. Suddenly I was like in the front line learning it. It was brilliant, brilliant, brilliant experience. Cannot thank some of those guys enough. And then from there I went to Capgemini. I don't know if you know Capgemini.
Yes, of course.
Capgemini at the time was Capgemini Ernst & Young. I hated that job. I was there for 2 years. I hated it. It was...
Too corporate. Too...
You had to use your brains. You had to do a lot of C-level stuff. But you know what? Looking back, it was my best education.
Oh, yeah.
It was my best education because I learned how to present.
Yep.
I learned how to do an ROI study. I learned how to manage.
Yeah.
I learned how to face challenges in the workplace. And then I learned that technology is just a sideshow. It's how you implement it and put it in and the change management. So
Awesome.
hated the job. Absolutely. But
Learned a
really,
lot.
really learned a lot. And then from there, Oracle created something called business units. Now, this is where this is where Oracle decided we can't sell database no more. We have to understand business. What is it that the CIO of a retail company wants to buy?
Yeah.
And at that time they created business units. I worked in there. I worked in the telecommunications business unit. I worked in the retail business unit. It was just fantastic experience. Learned about sales, pre-sales, consulting, forecasting, all the stuff that these fantastic US companies do. I was there for about 9-10 years. It was brilliant.
That's amazing. I love the story. I've heard that the energy that you had and also willingness and like people drawn into your personality. And they gave you a chance, the first one. And
Yeah,
then,
Richard Knight, yeah, he gave me a chance.
And then someone saw something in you that you didn't even see. That you were.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but he saw it.
And then he got you there, and then you went and got this amazing experience, and seriously looked at the learning experience at Capgemini, and then you took all of it, and now you're a coach, and you learn how to present to, with that, taking the team, to work with business.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, I do.
My only qualification, professional qualification, is a GCSE in drama.
Okay.
That is the honest truth. That is, I haven't got an MBA. I haven't got a computer science background. I haven't got any of that. Just be on. And I always thought to myself, what am I going to do with drama? But you know what that does? It helps you engage the audience, be it at a board meeting, be it at an investor community, be it with yourselves. Once you learn how to engage people, I think that's such a core skill, because I've got people who've got computer science and first class honors, and oh my God, so far, just so gifted, but they can't engage the audience. And I think just looking back, all of these things where I thought was bad actually turned out to be very good.
That's awesome. I'm really fascinated because I think there's very low amount of people who actually learn how to listen, how to communicate, how to really see the other person's side and spotlight them, and it's awesome.
My wife wouldn't agree, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the family business is different.
Yeah,
You have 2 kids, you said?
yeah.
Girls, boys?
2 girls.
2 girls.
One at 5 months and one at 2 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You have a
Busy house.
little baby.
Yeah. One
Wow.
brown hair, one blonde hair.
That's awesome.
One brown eyes, one blue eyes. How amazing is that?
That's a perfect mix.
Yes, it's my house. I've got a busy house. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. Well, I wish you all the best and all the blessings, and thank you for joining us.
No problem.
I'm here with Yahyah. Did you say it right?
You said it
I've
perfect.
been practicing. And thank you for joining Leaders in Studio. And this was Emirates edition, and we'll see you next in Portugal.